We're down at Sutton Harbour in Plymouth and we're here to test the magnificent beast I'm standing on now, the Princess 56. It takes over from the 54, which is an incredibly popular boat, and it's different in a number of key ways. Firstly, the hull uses resin infusion. Princess have also dropped the accommodation deck lower into the hull, so there's better headroom all round. And on top of that, the galley has gone from a galley down layer up into the saloon, which is much more sociable for the cook, and again, helps with space in the accommodation. The Princess 56 replaces the 54, which was one of the best handling flybridge boats that we've ever tested. So this thing has quite a lot to live up to. Luckily, it's very good indeed. It's running Volvo D13 800 horsepower engines and cruises happily at 26 knots like we're doing now, 2000 RPM, very, very smooth. It could do this all day. Flat out earlier on, with a bit of help from the tide, we got 35 knots, so performance really isn't an issue. But what really sets this boat apart is its handling and how light it is. And this is, you know, just under 60 foot long, and it turns, well, like the V39 to be honest. It is so smooth, so agile, really controllable, and you go full lock like this, it's only 4 turns lock to lock, and the rudders never stall, the boat just carries on going round. I mean, for something this big, it's just unbelievable, quite honestly. So the saloon is where we see one of the biggest differences over the old boat. First of all, formerly this was just a side table, no seating at all. This layout is much more sociable. You've got the U-shaped seating here, and you've got this large sofa so that people can sit opposite each other and talk and have a drink, etc. And the biggest change is that this is now up here. Formerly it was poked downstairs with all the cabins. Now it's up here, which means that the person doing the cooking, the person in the galley, has got this great view, raised view out of the windows, out of the windscreen, and then nice and close as well to where people are going to be sitting to dine. A lot of builders have started putting galley up layouts with the galley near the cockpit doors, which has its own benefits, but the space that this affords you when you first come in to the saloon and you've got this nice open lounging space with the galley up here, it works really, really well. There are some nice touches in the saloon that are worth pointing out. One is this fridge down here, right next to the cockpit doors, just where you need it when you want your cold drinks. There is a separate fridge up on the flybridge, but for serving the cockpit, that is in a great spot. And then moving back here, this is an optional extra. This boat's going to Brazil, where you're going to need something like an Icemaker, so that's in there. And then just to the right here, you've got storage for bottles, 8 of them, 2 soft close drawers. If I had one criticism about this area, it would be that there isn't an awful lot to hold on to right in the middle here. What I think would be a good addition is to have a handhold up here in the ceiling, just to give you something to grab onto if the boat swerves when you're moving along. But of course, once you move forward, you can start holding onto this stuff and onto the galley edge up here. Large full beam master cabins amidships are becoming pretty ubiquitous nowadays, so it's hard for builders sometimes to differentiate cabins from other builders, but what Princess have managed to do on this is transform the cabin simply by removing the mullions from this window. The effect you have of having one huge piece of glass is quite transformative, and it makes a bigger difference than you think it might. It really, really does impress. And of course they've managed to work in an opening port on both sides as well. The other thing to mention about this cabin is the sheer amount of storage here. I mean, you've got all of these little cupboards here. This middle one is actually a pop-up vanity unit, voila. And then you've got bedside tables either side with a bit of storage. There's big bins under the beds, and then hanging storage as well. So this is the owner's ensuite, and one criticism we had of the 54 was the lack of storage in the heads. And Princess have really taken this on board, because you don't really want for it on board this boat. Behind the mirrors, you've got acres of storage for all your toiletries, and then underneath the sink there's yet more down here, and of course you've got a really big separate shower cubicle, which has itself got a little fiddled storage area as well. The VIP cabin isn't quite as breathtaking as the master, but it's still a really nice cabin, good for your VIPs obviously, and it's got, you know, nice touches like this oversized hatch in the ceiling, and down here next to the underbed storage is these stools which you can take up to the saloon, and they actually go alongside the dinette, so you can sit 2 more people around the table when you're having dinner. What guests will really appreciate is the size of their bathroom. If anything, it's even bigger than the master's ensuite, and it has just as much storage and the same separate shower cubicle. So this is the guest cabin on the starboard side, and again, it's a really, really good cabin, nice and spacious. The headroom trick has really worked in here as well, headroom all the way to the top of the bed. And another nice touch is, instead of having to lift up these berths and scrabble around with loose lids, you've got proper pull-out drawers all the way along. Much easier to load stuff in and out of. Soft close, as you'd expect. And then you've got a nice big hanging locker as well. In terms of the helmsman's lot, it's very good actually. Nice and close to the wheel and the throttles. The chair has a bit of adjustment forward and backwards, so you can sit back in your seat and everything falls to hand. Obviously the navigator is inside the skipper here. It's a conscious decision by Princess. Some may find it annoying that the navigator disturbs the skipper when he wants to get out, but actually what it does is puts the steering wheel right in the middle of the boat so that you've got the best view from the centre of the flybridge when you're berthing, or even when you're out at sea. It's handy. So the flybridge on the 56, it's actually a very simple layout. There aren't too many party tricks, but it just does everything really well. It's very spacious for a start, as you can probably tell by the size of this table. Absolutely enormous room here for 6 or 8 people to dine in comfort. You could bring up the stools from downstairs to go with the dinette down there, and people can sit on this side as well. You've got a very well kitted out wet bar here. It includes a griddle, a sink as you might suspect. You've got a chest fridge there, and then this is handy, having a bin up here so you don't have to always run up and downstairs to get rid of your rubbish. And then moving forward, this is quite a neat idea in that you've got this angled backrest here like this, but what that's actually for is this slides out as so, and then there's an infill cushion just down here, and you've got an instant sun pad. So down in the warmth of the lower helm now, and Princess has done a really good job actually. It's very clean, very neat, not too fussy, but it just works really well. Very clear, that's what I like about it. You've got the adjustment on the seats as well, like you do upstairs, and as with that, with the footrest, steering wheel, throttle, everything falls to hand. The driving position is really comfortable. The view out is also really good, no matter what speed you're doing, even getting onto the plane, you always maintain good sight of the horizon, which is really nice. Obviously you've got ventilation here, which is a great option to have, and there's another larger window on the other side which is also controlled from here. And then the navigator has got the plotter in front of them, but the skipper can also use the plotter from his chair, which is really important, and then dedicated chart storage under this perspex lid, which we always love to see. Really good job they've done here.